Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nash Jocic, bodybuilding champion. I have spent over 40 years in bodybuilding industry, and during that time I competed 46 times and I managed to win 17 shows. I have also published 9 books in the meantime on the subject of muscle growth, fat loss, lifestyle change, competitive bodybuilding, and I have also personally supervised and trained over 3,000 clients and helped them to achieve the best shape of their life. So I hope that on my YouTube channel you will find advice that will also help you dramatically change your performance and your physique. And this time I want to talk to you about the most important exercise for back width. I believe that the best exercise for back width is, without comparison, pull-ups. So this comes from my own experience and also experience of my clients, as well as people that I train with, professional bodybuilders and others who are quite advanced in bodybuilding. And these people were always doing pull-ups. So as you probably all know, people like Arnold Schwarzenegger developed their back width mainly by performing pull-ups. Arnold was known, as you can see on the images, to perform very wide grip pull-ups to the front, behind the neck, and also Arnold used to perform a close grip pull-ups for obviously different parts of the back for different reason. But it was always that pull-up exercise that was the bread and butter for his back development. Another Mr. Olympia who also developed amazing back was Franco Colombo. He did a lot of pull-ups in order to achieve that phenomenal V shape. But as you know, people who come after them, also Mr. Olympias, like for example Dorian Yates, he also performed pull-ups in the beginning, and this is the time when actually he built the foundation of his physique, of his back. This is thanks to pull-ups. Later on, he changed his training routine, but pull-ups were there in the beginning again. Then you have Ronnie Coleman, he did pull-ups as well. And you have Phil Heath, who also did pull-ups. So as you can see, many others also performed pull-ups as a main exercise for back width. I remember training with Brian Buchanan and Amory Francis and others in Muscleworks, and Brian was known to have amazing V shape and huge back, and we perform pull-ups together on a regular basis. So there is no need to show you more of these extremely well-developed bodies and backs in relation to pull-ups. So pull-ups are clearly something that everybody has done, or almost everybody, if I have to be precise, in order to achieve that phenomenal back width. Now, why are pull-ups best for your back width, and especially wide grip pull-ups? First of all, by performing pull-ups, you're performing a natural movement. This is a natural movement. We are all basically by our DNA acquainted to natural movements like pull-ups, dips, press-ups, squats, and we benefit from them, also deadlift, because there is something probably in our DNA through our evolutionary development that we have acquainted to those exercises, and now we perform much better when we actually do them or simulate them in the best possible way. Now, the reason for that is that number of motor units, actually the number of muscle fibers that you recruit by doing pull-ups is much higher than when you do, for example, pull-downs, which is closest to pull-ups. And especially when you perform full range of motion, when you go all the way down, which is the most important part of pull-ups, and then try to go as high as you can, that full range of motion stimulates a lot of muscle fibers in your latissimus dorsi muscle, which is mainly responsible for back width, but not only latissimus dorsi, because you are pulling your body up. You're not only pulling in a straight line. You have to stabilize your body left and right, and also backwards and forwards. And in order to stabilize yourself and perform this movement successfully, you are using many other muscles. So that doesn't happen when you do pull downs. Like, for example, all these scapular units, they are much more engaged, like supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major, rhomboids, and also rear delts. They are much more engaged when you do pull-ups than when you do pull-downs. I mean, all you need to do, if you can do pull-ups, try and you will see what I'm talking about. So when you do pull-ups, you can feel much more your back, even your trapezius. So the reason is because you are not pulling, as on the pull-down, the force which is stabilized on a 2 bars with weights that you're pulling, and you don't have to stabilize anything because of the machine, which is already stabilized. You have to stabilize yourself by doing the movement. That stabilization actually causes engagement of many different muscles as well, and also core muscles. So your abdominal muscles also work. So it's an extremely a basic multi-joint exercise. This is why it's so effective, because it recruits a lot of muscle fibers and different muscles as well. So the thing is that not everybody can form pull-ups. So you may be one of those guys who cannot do pull-ups. So what are you going to do now with you? Should I just say, okay, forget about pull-ups, just do your pull-downs and, don't worry about the rest? Well, not necessarily. There is a way that you can improve and you can manage to do pull-ups. So before I tell you what is the best way for you to do, I'm going to tell you my story, because I didn't have that opportunity. First of all, I didn't have equipment, and also I didn't have knowledge. There was nobody to tell me that. And I simply just performed pull-ups. So maybe this can be your answer too. So my story with pull-ups started when I went to the military service. I was only 18 years old. And I obviously wanted to exercise. So we didn't have any gym, any equipment, weights, nothing like that. So all that I could have done possibly was to use some bars on the military playgrounds, which sports playgrounds, which were basically there for different military exercises and purposes. And among those bars, and that sports playground, there were bars on which I could have performed dips for chest, and also there are straight bars on which I could have performed pull-ups. So all I could have done in those days, I was trying to do pull-ups for back, dips and press-ups for chest, and for legs I would do sprints. So this was the whole program, right? Now, when it comes to pull-ups, I remember when I started doing that, I couldn't lift myself 2 or 3 times. So I would rest and I would try again, and the reps, as many reps as I could have, but they were always like 2 or 3, probably not even all the way up. But I didn't give up. So I didn't know, but I tried every day. And then after a few weeks of doing it, I reached to the point that I could have done 4 or 5 reps. So I was so proud of myself that I could have lifted myself 4 or 5 times. Now, somebody said to me, oh, you can't do that every day. It's too much. You should try every other day. And then I started doing it every other day. So pull-ups actually started improving. And I was able to do 6, 7 reps. And my number of sets went up to 5. Last set was obviously 3 reps. But at least I was now doing something. And I felt that something is happening in my back. Now, to cut the long story short, being consistent, performing that every other day, and then later on I started doing it like twice a week. At the end of my service, which lasted 12 months, I was able to perform 25 reps, full range reps of pull-ups. And I was doing up to 10 sets. My body weight went from 75 kgs when I entered the service, and a year later I was 85. So I was 10 kgs up in weight. I didn't know what vitamins are. I didn't have any protein powders. I didn't have any equipment, any gym. All I have done were pull-ups for back, which I mastered brilliantly. I did dips for chest and press-ups, and I was sprinting for legs and doing some crunches for abs. And this is all I have done. And I increased my body weight from 75 to 85 in 12 months. Now, why I'm saying this to you? Because if you want to perform pull-ups, you have to try to do pull-ups. You can't just wait and do something else in meantime, and then maybe the miracle will happen after 6 months or a year. No, it's not going to happen. You have to keep trying. Now, are there any tips that I can give you to improve your pull-ups? Most of the time, people cannot perform pull-ups because they don't have the grip, the grip strength. So in order to develop grip strength, the best advice I can give you is to hang. So dead hang. Just jump on the bar, straight bar, and fully stretch. Just hang for 20, 30 seconds, then rest, then try again. Do that every other day, maybe 3 hangs, 30 seconds each. Then, as you start getting stronger, try to hang for 60 seconds and make 5, 6 hangs every maybe 3 to 4 days. So that will dramatically improve the grip, the strength of your grip. This is the number one thing that you need to improve in order to do pull-ups. You have to be able to hold yourself. Now, the second thing to do is you can jump into the top position and then just do the negative. So everybody can do that. Slow negative, slow negative, slow negative. So do 5, 6, 7 negatives in few sets and then repeat it maybe twice a week. That will also help you strengthen a lot your back muscles. That will help you be able to perform few reps eventually on your own. You can also use assisted pull-ups, but it is bands and machines, but I'm not a big favor of that. So the last advice is to perform, obviously, heavy pull-downs. Although heavy pull-downs may help you to be able to do proper pull-ups, there is no guarantee because it's a very different movement. You're not pulling yourself up, you're basically pulling the weight down. So it's a very different mechanics and dynamics in this exercise. So once again, strengthen your grip, do negatives only, and obviously keep trying on with your heavy, high-intensity pull-downs. But don't forget, if you want to perform pull-ups, you have to keep trying. Even if you do only 2 or 3 reps week after week, keep trying, keep going. As I've done when I was 18, eventually after a few weeks, you're going to do 4 or 5 reps. After a few months, you're going to be able to do 5, 6 reps, and eventually you will end up doing 10 reps or more, and then you will be able to perform a few sets, which will be a fantastic number of reps and sets for your pull-up regime. So, as you can see on the video which I'm playing for you, the most important thing to pay attention to when you do pull-ups is obviously wide grip, but your elbows have to be out, not in, because I don't want you to stress your biceps too much and to narrow the trajectory of the movement by going in with your arms. So keep your elbows out, as you can see me performing for you there, and make sure that you lift yourself only by using your back, your latissimus muscles, not your arms. Often I see people jumping on the bar and doing all kind of movements and cheating and elbows in and biceps in and under grip and all these things. Yes, you can do that kind of pull-ups, but they're not going to help you. You need to do it properly. Once again, you see me on the video doing this for you. You see how I move up and down in a perfect form, in the same pace. There is no bouncing, there is no cheating, there is no moving backwards and forwards. You don't want to do that. So I'm showing you the best way to perform pull-ups and ultimately benefit from them. Now, there is an argument. People say, well, but you don't necessarily need to do pull-ups. You can do pull-downs. They're as effective as pull-ups. And a lot of people are just doing, even professionals are not doing pull-ups. They're doing pull-downs, etc., etc. So the argument is obviously very shallow, because a lot of people who are professionals nowadays, they don't really need to do pull-ups because they've done it. So they build the foundation of the size. I'm talking about building that foundation, how to make the back as wide as possible. And again, I'm still doing pull-ups regardless of my back development, and I will always be doing them because they're essential multi-joint exercise, like bench press, like squats. You can't do anything better than that. And Yes, lat pull downs are also very effective exercise. You can do that. But they, as I said, they don't stimulate as many muscle fibers, many motor units as pull-ups. Also because you are in fixed position and the weight is balanced because you're just pulling the bars on those two bars, vertical bars. You're pulling the weights. There is no stabilizing activity needed, so you're not engaging other muscles on your back, which you basically should, and is pity not to when you can. Also, pull downs are more isolated, so you can do them with a narrow grip or hitting particular part of your back. You can do wide grip in the front, behind the neck. You can do different obviously angles. So lat pull down is an excellent exercise, and I always do it. But I always do it as a complementary exercise. So I put that extra after I have finished my pull-ups. I usually start with pull-ups. Always start with pull-ups if you can, obviously, because it's very hard exercise. You don't want to do that at the end of your session. But I do wide grip pull-ups first. Then I do bent over rowing, either with dumbbells or barbell or other machines. And then I usually do close grip pull down as a third exercise. So I think I've given you enough reasons to keep trying and do pull-ups if you can. And if you can do them, a number of sets, again, is relative. It can be anything from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever you feel you can and you should do. I sometimes go up to 7, 8 sets in that if I feel like that in a particular day. I may end up doing first set like 15 reps, and maybe my last set will be 6 or 7 reps. And that's I mean, the feeling and the results that I get from that are simply phenomenal. And it's not only me. So I will leave that number of sets for you. Anything from 3, 4, 5 sets will be more than enough. A number of reps, not less than 6. But if you can do 12, 15 reps, maybe it's time for you to put a plate or a dumbbell, increase the weight around your waist, and then with that overload, basically increase intensity. Once again, pay attention to the form, elbows out, and use your back when you lift yourself up. Lift yourself up in a straight line. Don't move backwards and forwards, as you see most of the time, because that cheating during pull-ups is not going to help you get the width that you are aiming for. I hope that you have liked this video, and if you did not subscribe yet, please do subscribe. And please send me your comments, because this is how we develop our community. Your comments obviously help other people get engaged and get your views and advice potentially. And also for you who are very much interested in detail about muscle growth, about fat loss, about competitive bodybuilding, I have published for you 7 ebooks. You can see them on my website, which is nashfreetraining.com. They're very detailed. They cover anything you need to know, as I mentioned, about muscle hypertrophy, fat loss, most effective training systems, training techniques, nutrition for competitive bodybuilders, and much more. Also on my website, which is again nashfreetraining.com, I provide other services like personalized training programs, personalized nutritional programs, personal training online, and for the lucky ones, as I like to say, who live in London, I provide personal training one-to-one. So once again, thank you for watching this video or tuning in if you're just listening to the podcast. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves.